Hi, everyone. We are here with Jess and Ryan, and I am so excited for you guys to hear their story today. They bought their very first long-term rental property. They got a duplex through my program, Successful Rental Properties. So why don't you guys start off and just tell everyone a little bit about yourself, like where you live, what you do for work, and what got you started with the idea that you want to invest in real estate.
All right. So we live in Reading, Pennsylvania. I work in workers' comp insurance. And really, we just kind of were looking around. I saw some reels on Instagram and kind of just went down the rabbit hole of real estate, listening to podcasts and everything, read some books, and made Ryan listen along.
Yes. And I'm an engineering manager. I had no interest in rentals whatsoever until my wife forced me to listen to podcasts on our long drives to and from our parents' house. And after hearing Casey's podcast interview, I don't remember which one or who it was on, I had said she sounded relatable, and that was the one that I would like to explore if we were going to get into this.
Love it. So what were some of the things like, I've been doing real estate a long time. And for someone who didn't start off in their career with real estate, it can sound very daunting to start an investment journey. What were some of the things that you guys were afraid of kind of doing on your own and wanted to make sure that you got some help with to make sure you did it right? Do you remember any of those things?
Yeah, I think picking out tenants and just kind of picking out something that wouldn't cost us money, that would make us money instead. Just getting in the right property, really.
And maintenance. I very particular about things being done correctly, and I was worried that in order for us to get into the rental market, we'd be buying a subpar house that would require a lot of work and capital to get into the shape that we would need it.
Well, while we're there, let's talk about your rental. So you guys bought in the same state that you live in. How far away is it from you?
About 4 hours.
4 hours. So that's like far. I mean, 4 hours for some people is a whole other state. It is for me. I could be in another state in 15 minutes. Actually, in 2 states. It's kind of cool. I could be in Mississippi in 15 minutes, and I could be in Arkansas in 15 minutes. Isn't that kind of neat? Weird. Living from California, like when I live in SoCal, I could drive 4 hours and not get, I guess I could get to Nevada, but you're always in California. There's no escaping it. But so it's kind of neat living here with all the choices. But anyways, so you bought 4 hours away. Tell us about your property. Like, what was the experience? Let's start with the experience of, researching and kind of and buying it. Tell me about that.
That's you.
So researching, we looked at a bunch of major cities. I think ultimately we decided on Pittsburgh just being kind of proximity to us, and just interest in it in general. So we decided to go with that, and everything seemed good.
So you got a duplex, right? Tell me, like, I remember the Tenants was like one of the cool things, how they were really good. What did your PM say about the Tenants? Because it was occupied when you bought it.
So it was actually an off-market property. Our realtor had sent us that another realtor in her firm was selling. And the tenants, she said, were some of the best ones she has. She said if she wasn't their property manager, she would invite them to a barbecue with them and everything. So it's just really encouraging for us to know that these are the people we're renting to.
Yeah, that is nice. You don't hear that very often. So when you get good tenants that you inherit, it's like, oh my God, this is the best thing because you get immediate cash flow. You don't have to make tons of repairs, in between when people have left to putting in new tenants. So it's really is a blessing when you can get, good tenants that you buy into them. It's like awesome. So let's see, purchase price is about what, 127, right? And what interest rate did you get? Everyone says you can't cash flow with today's rates.
I think ours wound up being 7.25.
7.25. And what's your cash flow?
It's about $600 a month, give or take. Yeah.
So, I know. I was already telling you guys before the call, like, oh, I'm really happy for you guys. That's amazing. $127,000 property, inherited A+ tenants, $600 a month. Like, dude. So through the process of going through the program and getting your first rental property and learning all this stuff, would you guys say that you're more well-equipped now than when you started with your real estate experience and ready to kind of purchase your next one on your own?
For sure.
Absolutely.
what were some of the things you'd say kind of helped you the most in my program? I know there's like the course and the coaching calls, and you emailed and stuff like that. What was at least one thing that you said was, yes, this off the top of your head, this is the most beneficial part of the program?
I would say just the coaching calls. I think one of our biggest obstacles, we had a realtor for a month or two, and it just wasn't a good fit. And I felt like we weren't getting anywhere. I think without having someone else to talk to, I don't know if we would have had the confidence to drop him and go with our realtor, who ended up being fantastic. And I think you just gave us that encouragement, give him one chance. It didn't work, and we pivoted, and it was the best thing we did.
And I'd also say, the beginning of the course, when you hear people talk about rentals, you hear all these different acronyms and different verbiage, and you sit there and go, I have no idea what you're talking about. But the beginning of the course and completely teaches you what all of that means, what it stands for, where it comes from, and then how it applies to what you're doing. So that for me helped me at least understand what Jess was trying to explain to me, even as I kind of tapered away from the program towards the end.
I love it. Yeah, and I remember I did in the very beginning is these all the acronyms. And I'll say, I think maybe 3 years ago, I think 2021, I did a reel, and it was a really long time ago. And it was when I did like fun, stupid reels on Instagram. And I did one where I only talked in acronyms. It was an acronym like something like I'm using like an HML to buy a B burr, and I was like, I did this whole like 2 sentence of just acronyms, and I'm like, people talk, and most people that are not full-time investors do not know what half this stuff means. Like you only know if you know and you've learned it because you didn't know it at the beginning. So I'm glad that helped you. I don't hear people say that one. So yeah, I'm so glad. Good. So the investment program I know is not cheap because it's a one-on-one program and all of that. Would you guys say that it was worth it?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Thank you. And last question. I always ask kind of like the same questions. Let's say someone's watching this because whoever's watching this is going to be interested in maybe joining my program. They're like, is Casey's program legit? Is she going to be there for me? Am I actually going to get results? Does she care? What would you say to someone who's watching this video and they're deciding if they should join my program or not? What would you say to them to get them off the fence?
I mean, I know one thing I would say is I have a couple of friends who, through family or their own personal interests, are involved in real estate. And if you would have asked me a year ago if I ever had an opportunity to beat them or be better at them or understand what it is that they're trying to do, I would have said no, because I don't even know where to begin with real estate. And now I can tell you that Jess and I sit here with a level of real estate knowledge that my friends wouldn't understand themselves, the ones who are interested in this kind of stuff. They talk about rentals, but we know rentals now. And I think that's something that's kind of exciting to have in our back pocket.
Love that. Anything from you, Jess?
Yeah, I would just say, I think your course just gave us a lot. I think the beginning really set us up for success. And I think it was good because we set ourselves up with a good team where we almost didn't need you, but we always had you. We were still able to talk to you every week and say, everything's going great. Our team is doing great. Our lender's doing great. Our realtor's great. But what do you think? And you were always just able to give us that support and kind of give us the final okay on things, even though we kind of knew they were okay. It was just that extra confidence boost that I think really made us feel good to move forward with everything.
Awesome. It's really good to hear. I'm glad. I know the course is really thought out. So people go, some people do wonder like, well, what's the course like? Is it just because people throw together a course? Like if you've bought any other courses, because before I made this one, I had never seen a course. So I think I did a really good job. So since then, now I had bought other people's courses and realized people just slap stuff together and charge a lot of money for it. And I'm like, that's not mine. I did a really good job. I feel like on mine, put a lot of effort into it, hours and hours, like almost a year's worth of research and work. So I appreciate that. And that's how it's designed. The course is designed to teach you everything. And then when we meet, we put everything into action and make sure you're taking the right actions and making sure that you're making the right decisions along the way. And if you're not, we change focus, just like with the realtor situation. realtor wasn't doing a good job. So people just give up and say, oh, well, forget it. You know, I don't know how to get out of that. I don't want to deal with that. And it's too much of a headache to try and switch. So they just will quit. So there's so many little quitting points. And so I'm glad that I was able to help you guys through that, because you got a fantastic duplex. So what's the next step for you guys? What's on the docket for your next property? What's your plan?
We're hoping to buy another property in the same area by the end of the year. Kind of gonna talk to our realtor to see where we want to be, if we want to try for another duplex, a single family, and see what we can get ourselves into.
Love it. Any last words?
I just would like to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you for everything.
I mean, I've spent my life thinking that hard work is going to be enough to get me a good job, to get me more money in that job, and hopefully retire at a normal retirement age, and hope that I have enough in my retirement to enjoy that last part of my life. Whereas now I feel like we're on a different path where the enjoyment of life is going to start sooner, with less stress and less of that need to go to your 9 to 5.
Amen. You're speaking the things that I write every week in my emails. So yeah, that's exactly it. And especially with how much inflation has gone through the roof and how much things are costing nowadays and all the extra things people have to pay for that our parents didn't have to pay for. We have to think outside the box as like humans and citizens. We have to find other ways to make money, because for the regular person, income's not enough anymore. It's not enough. You have to have another income, and you only have 24 hours in a day. You don't have 48 to do 2 jobs. So you need that passive income to help support this life that we live, because it's just getting more and more stressful. I feel personally, to just live, because things are just costing so much more, but no one's getting paid anymore. You know, like it's not equal. So you're right on, Ryan. Like, you're going to be able to enjoy life soon. And that is one of the best things that I love about real estate, is you get the cash flow now to help enjoy and up your lifestyle. Meanwhile, your equity is growing and growing and growing in your rentals. And that's your nest egg that you can retire on later on. So it's like you get the best of both worlds. So anyways, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Casey.